Well, it's a great day for a great day. Of course, it's always up to you. You have a choice that you get to create or be consumed in all the time. I'm here with you at Sit in It, the podcast. My name is Tracy A. Martin. I'm a hypnotherapist, practitioner, life guide intuitive here at Opening Doors Productions. And if this is new for you, please do take a look on our YouTube channel, like and subscribe if you're liking what you see. And that way, then you can have notifications every time a new podcast comes up. And we are located as Opening Doors Productions on YouTube. And it's also Facebook. We have a group called Sit in It right on Facebook. So you're welcome to join that as well, because we will share the link every week to the podcast there. What I'm wanting all of you to know while you are watching and listening or just listening is that this new episode, this new season that we've been doing with season 2 is being able to interview more people so that you can see more life stories of people that are creating lives on purpose and changing lives on purpose. And that way we get you back into the matrix of your creation that's going on, because so many of you have been hiding for such a long time. The podcasts that we have, you have watched and you've sit in it, you are triggered by some of them. The greatest way that any of this information comes up is because many of you are either texting me or sending your questions to support@livingwholeonpurpose.com. And that's why there's no stupid question ever. If you have a question, an inquiry, why would you not ask it? We are here and we are creating a brand new earth, a brand new Gaia, and we do not want you hiding anymore. Every time you hide the light that you are, the dark wins. Every time you're more worried about what others are going to think, then you are defeating yourself continually. And that's where this is kind of moving into in this podcast today, as I have several questions that were submitted. And so this today is not an interview with other people other than with myself and all the questions that you've sent in. And most of you like having your names hidden unanimously and anonymously. And so I will always respect that, because if you are worried about others in your life that you're not ready for, but you have the question you want to hear, that's why this is such a safe space. I'll always hold space for you on whatever level you want, because there's not one thing I know to ever give you. I can never fix you. I cannot save you. All I can do is love you. And it's your perception that will always decide if whoever you're in connection with helps you or have saved you or have been a link or a connection for you. It will always be your perspective. So as we move in to this podcast today, we've got 4 major questions around actually the same thing. And I love how consciousness really shows itself in its waves of what people are feeling, thinking, wanting closures, or new discoveries in. And the first 4 questions are all around ascension symptoms. And so the one that I want to really bring into the forefront, because many of you are trapped in these broken mind traps of believing that the dark ones are destroying you. And then we have many of you who are realizing that the light is winning. And you're stuck in this conundrum because many people are saying things like, how do we know if it's 5G towers or the sun that's giving us these ascension symptoms? So I'm going to lay this really, really much clearer for you so that you guys can sit in it. Number one of the greatest things that Love Consciousness told us is radiation is radiation. Again, radiation is radiation. our Hertzian level that we live on this earth plane right now is measured in a Hertzian level, because that is the level frequency that we live in. And from that Hertzian level to light, to infrared, infrablue, X-ray, gamma ray, void is that beautiful ascension program that takes us higher and higher into the densities of frequency. And so any of you who have been asking the questions to me that have wanted to know more, and that's the first place I tell you to go to, is the Schumann resonance. Because Schumann resonance on Facebook, there's a page and there's thousands of people on there, because I will get inundated on some days, especially when we've got the amount of gamma ray that is coming through, solar flares that are coming through, and many that are not quite awakening to it yet do not understand that we are connected to absolutely everything. We are everything. We are going to respond, react to all the energies that are going around us. And you are not, not separate from it. Every animal, every child, every person, everything is affected by energies. And so the Schumann resonance is what was created in order for to measure all the different graphs of stuff that are going on. And what's so great about it, you don't need to know, because the greatest thing to know is that I don't know anything. But the more I'm learning, the more it makes me want to learn more. And that's what's so great on this plight of becoming this amazing soul that we are. And so on the Schumann resonance site, the reason I tell people to go there is because then you can read in the comments that you're not alone. And there'll be thousands of people experiencing the same kind of symptoms as you. And then there'll be thousands that are experiencing something completely different than you that someone else is resonating with. Radiation is radiation. So no matter what, it doesn't matter if it's coming from the 5G towers, unless you are the vigilante that finally goes and takes them all out, that's going on throughout the world. But what we are understanding is those beautiful light rays are giving us upgrades to the system, because we are changing from a carbon-based body to a crystalline-based body. Those ascension symptoms or radiation symptoms, if it's easier for you to perceive or believe around, are exactly the same things going on. So no matter what, your health is of utmost importance. The first thing that comes out of your body physically when radiation hits it in streams is your mineral base. So again, any of you that listen to me and you hear me speaking over and over and over again, I'm going to tell you that the number one thing that you need to make sure you have on hand is real raw sea salt, especially Celtic salt. It is stronger. It's great to cook with as well, but you don't have to use as much. And I made that little mistake when I made popcorn one night. But to have Celtic salt, and I like to have the coarse salt, because I take 3 or 4, sometimes I'll take 5 or 6 of the crystals, put it in my mouth. You're going to let it completely melt, and then you're going to drink your good water. I don't care if it's hydrogen water. I do care that it is spring water, not distilled water, spring water. That is its natural base. We do not want to take everything out of water and then put stuff back into it, because now we're messing with the miracle of what it is itself. So the moment that your salts have melted and you drink it with that water, it then makes it easier to make its way into the blood cells, in your blood stream, and then into the cell itself. So then you have great hydration. Many of you, when you're starting to feel a headache coming on, that is one of the greatest things to do, to go and take salt right away. Keep salting. And it really does. So many people are experiencing these headaches, especially frontal into the sides of eyes, all that, because that's all part of the radiation. It's all part of the uploads, downgrades, upgrades, whatever you want to call them, that are coming through the system. Lots of neurological stuff going on where you'll feel severe itching, you'll feel heat in places, hot flashes, hot sweats. It doesn't matter if it's a little child, a man, a woman, even animals. As you're watching your dogs, cats, all animals around you, you're watching how you'll see people feeling like they're having sudden zoomies. You watch children suddenly that are so oversensitized. And that's why I feel for so many of you moms and dads right now that are raising babies and children that are trying to figure out and navigate just like the rest of us, and they have no idea, but to let them flow through you. So all you moms that are having babies that aren't sleeping very well, I feel for you. So many people with insomnia, and you'll realize at certain times that it's coming through. We know as we're awakening, love consciousness has told us the more awake you become physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the more awake you are, and you will need less sleep, and you really don't need as much food. It's phenomenal, as many of us are feeling that. So there's going to be days where you just want to eat your arm off because you can't eat enough. There's going to be times where you're just suddenly have an aversion to what you naturally eat. There's going to be cravings. Listen to your body, because there's something in it that it's saying it needs. Usually when people are craving sugar, it's because those parasites in your body are saying, you need to feed me. So I'm going to send the message to the brain saying, get me some food. When really, most people don't realize that the reason you will have a craving for salt, which usually comes first, and then for sugar, is because you're dehydrated. And again, if you feel that you can't get enough salt and water intake into you, a great way to step up those electrolytes is pickle juice. We know anything fermented is fantastic for you for a reason, because it actually helps you absorb and get that good biome, so you have even better absorption. So through all of this that's going on, and you're watching your feelings where you're just forgetting so much, where you don't even know why you walked into a room, and it doesn't matter what age you are. It's happening to everyone of every age. I've even watched my dog actually this morning, where he was beside himself and he kept going into one room to another. He was playing, trying to see a cat outside. And then I watched him, and it was like he didn't know what he was doing. And he was stuck almost between two worlds because he wasn't sure what was going on. I know I'm feeling it. I'm watching the people living in our house that are having it, where they're feeling it, and they're just like, is this mum brain? Is this? Is it not enough sleep? Is it all the things? The greatest gift I'm going to say to you today is the more you are invested in your mind and having to know and overthink everything, the worse it's going to be for you. Do you need to know why? No. Do you need to listen, feel, and hear? Yeah. When your body is talking to you, the more that you get into observation and are feeling whatever's going on in your body, and if you're feeling like you need to go to someone, because that's naturally the human expression, is that needing to go somewhere to someone else because you've been programmed that someone of authority is better and more intelligent and knows better for you, because you've been programmed from birth that you're not allowed to listen to your body and to what that natural direction is. So if you need to go to a doctor or a hospital or whatever, because like I said, many symptoms that are going on are people experiencing heart palpitations, all that. And I will say to everyone that gets a hold of me, you go do you. You do what you need to do to be able to put yourself at rest. And when they tell you they can't find anything, unless they're trying to find something wrong with you, because that's what they're indoctrinated as well, is just to be that glorified drug dealer and put you on some kind of drugs. Because, most people that are saying, well, you're not finding anything wrong with me, but this is what's going on, they'll believe there's something wrong with your head. And so they're going to want to put you on antidepressants or on anti-anxiety drugs, which do exactly the opposite, make you a zombie and completely destroy your cognitive process. So if you feel you have to do that, reach out so that you can decide that that's not what's going on. But there are millions of people, animals are no different, that are having heart expansion happen because we're moving into, those of us who are ready, into the fourth density plane. And that is the fourth chakra related on our center around our heart. And that's why it has to expand more for you to finally become more expansive in what love is and that infinite, unconditional, limitless place. And so this is happening for many of you. And some will feel it around the same time. Some people are like, oh my God, severe headache. Exhaustion is one of the biggest parts of all of this. What does the body do the moment it realizes you're being taxed? It wants to go to sleep. Why? Because it wants you out of the way. It knows the moment you're not using all these energies for all the things you believe you have to be doing all the time, the moment you can go into rest stage, your adrenals completely shut down into allowance mode. And that's where we allow things to reset, restore, renew. This is a big deal. I've had so many people who are like I think something's wrong with me. I think I have a disease. And anyone who's becoming more awake can know that the moment the body is saying, that's my first call out for help, it's because I'm tired. So like, I'm fighting something's going on. I'm going to tell you again, they're not going to really find anything. And if you do have symptoms that are coming out, a lot of the times the things that you'd physically naturally do don't work well for you. Meditating, get yourself outside. You will ground so quickly because you're just in the motion of being motion. Get outside as much as you can. It's beautiful, especially everywhere in the world right now. We are coming into that brand new birth of what's going on. Lots and lots of people are experiencing severe indigestion, heartburn. Some people to the point they're actually feeling stomach flu-like symptoms and purging. Or the other side, we are going through the great purge. When I say purge, I mean on every level, every embodiment of what you are. So hopefully this will help you understand a little bit more about what's going on. And so Love Consciousness showed us how Sophia, who is the embodiment or the orb of life that she is, when she chose to become a planetary body, and it's always female because it's the only thing that can sustain life. She is 60 and higher. Okay. And then Gaia was created, which is in a 5D form. Terra is a 4D plane. And Earth became infiltrated a prison state of which became Earth. And so when you hear this is hell here on Earth, it's not a lie. Because when the big wars happened and they completely came in through artificial intelligence, which is what this is all about, and how they infiltrated, distorted, inside out, upside down, and inverted and fractaled beyond what you can think of. And that's how they created the earth plane, which is the lowest plane of existence, which is a Hertzian plane. You can't get any lower than this. And so we are moving her. And so when you think of a sieve and you think earth was inverted down to this point, we're literally pulling her back up into Gaia and then into Sophia. So many of us are feeling earth from earth to Terra, and we're starting to feel that fourth dimensional, fourth density mode just before that. And that's why some of you are creating your heaven here right now and feeling the bliss and seeing the abundance that's coming through for you, because you're leveling up. The deeper you go in, the higher you're going to level up. But what's happening with this purge is nothing distorted or false can ever be there again in order to come back into the wholeness of all that we are. So that has to purge all those lies, the deceit, the deception, the misleading, the misconduct, the perversion, the inversion, all of it. The more light that is shone upon it, the more darkness you will see that was hiding behind the scenes, like you think of in The Wizard of Oz, and how the curtains being open and you realize it's always been nothing but a bullshit lie play. So this is what's coming up. And Sophia is calling all her people home, right back up. And so all of the timelines that you have lived, that have been living as an earth presence, all have to come up as well. Excuse me. So these timelines are all collapsing back into this plane to be completely transmuted into the wholeness, back into all that you are. So you will have pains that come out of nowhere. You will have bad dreams that shock you to the core. You will have way more in your awakenings, plays out, and knowings, and like a projection coming through for some of you. It's all going to be different for all of you, but you're going to have rememberings of many of your timelines as they're coming up through that resolution. And the deeper you go in the place of allowance, that's the only way it can flow and leave. And so, have you ever thought about how are people born with these personalities right off the bat? Have you ever thought about that? How some people are just natural born leaders, naturally skilled at certain things. You're like, they do it like they don't even have to think about it. Do you not think that it has to do with many of the timelines of what you've achieved in these lifetimes that's still within the cell memory, within your reincarnation process that they had you locked into? And you see people attain the wisdom and knowledge of becoming leaders, but you see people that naturally just know how to lead or guide. And you see natural tyrants. You see natural evil. You see natural beauty and light. And this is all because all these timelines have been very similar. And so this is what's happening right now for many of you. In the purge, it's not just a physical purge of feeling symptoms. It's very much the mental plane, because the earth plane where they kept you in was the mental plane. And that's where they projected continually what they needed for you to feed off of to be the creators that you needed to create the consciousness they wanted. And so this purge, the more light and love you become, the more you will not tolerate living in the lies. You'll naturally feel them. And that's why many of you have pulled away from churches, from religious organizations, from teachings, thoughts, ways of life that you realize no longer serve you. And the deeper you went in, started realizing, why would I allow any form of hypocrisy or harm to be done on others? And that's part of the Galactic Codex, or the universal laws, within this free will supposed plane that they inverted on purpose so that they could use it to make us play out freely what they believed was free. Many of you have this great place that you're in, and I know for you think it's hell and you're so over it, but where I see, when I look in your energies, I'm excited for you, because you're not interested in the 3D conversations or that matrix that just takes and harvests from you continually for others, not for service to others either, but only for others that are investing only in themselves. And many of you are waking up enough to see that you are done giving all your time and energy, investing all your time and energy for a job, and you come home and you have nothing to give to anything or anyone around you. And you're realizing that you are just a really good slave. And I'm so glad, because the only way you know is when you realize it. No different than the alcoholic that refuses to believe they have a problem. Because the moment they realize they do now, they know there's only them that can do something about it or not. These symptoms aren't going away. You can't take baggage with you where you're going. And no matter what ends up happening through the whole shift, this grand event or the sheen, whatever you want to call it, whether you have the religious spin on it from what you have beliefs in, whatever it is to you, in your heart, you can feel it building up, and something massive is coming very soon for us. And whether you choose 3D or 5D, it's inevitable, because that's where your choice is, and you'll wear that choice, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the greatest thing is, there will never be another 3D plane that is going to be infiltrated like it was. It will be an actual 3D plane of mass and matter without the tyranny, so that you, with the laws of the universal law or the Galactic Codex, will naturally be able to evolve through the process in free will, from cause and effect, in the correct way, where all truth is right in front of you and inside of you, instead of hidden from you and distorted to give you those false beliefs. So is this an exciting time? Yeah. Do we ever want to do it again? I'm not it. Not it. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Not it. Not it. I'm not interested ever again. But I want you to be very proud, because everyone guided to these words right now, they are for you. You are here on purpose. You're so important that if you weren't supposed to be here, you wouldn't be here. Because of you, because of the light that you are, because of the song that your embodiment sings, you're naturally guided to anchor everywhere that you are, and you don't even know it. I find such grandeur the more and more I connect and get to really have this closeness with love consciousness. And I'm very grateful to be able to be that vessel to sit in and listen and just remember how amazing we are. And I still can't quite grasp when they tell us the phenomenalness of what we are. And so for you to understand that everything is on purpose, that has to include you. And why you are guided to, and who you are guided to, on purpose, because it's part of this synergistic harmony of what's going on. Where I'm guiding you with this is because many of you through this purge, and we know that our relationship and relations to everything is one of the grandest parts of the purge. And many of you are stuck in this 3D linear that, you see someone or a neighbor or a friend, you're like, oh my God, I've known them for a million years. And you realize, oh, there's kinship or soulship to them. And you only see it on this level. And that yet, it's a soul level, like that you've known for a long time. You've loved this person for years. Excuse me. Excuse me. Years and years. And so I want to take you deeper than that, of where this purge is taking us to. So in the 3D world, many people have you trapped in these ideas of trauma, and I want to shed light on it in a different part of the trauma base that has happened, and why you end up having the same kind of people back in your life, or certain people that are playing out certain things to you. So it's just more simplified than most of you are when you're looking out and you're hearing, a lot of people are doing research and they're like, what is a karmic soulmate and a soulmate and a divine union or a twin flame? And so this is what's so amazing of what's happening, is that every one of your soul family, they have played in these multiple timelines they've been playing in. And you've had certain character roles that you have played in many of these timelines, and they have played certain character roles for you. And any of you that are going in deeper and deeper and haven't known where to dig deeper in, you're all having these feelings of severe grief, and you don't know why, where you just want to use the mental projection that it must be everything I'm seeing outside of myself, that this ominous is what I'm feeling, or this grief, and I don't know why, and why I just want to cry, and I don't know why. And it's because of the ways you have been murdered or killed or died in many of these timelines. The people who were around you, what you were doing at the time, the relationships you had. This is a big thing that's going down now. And so for those of you are able to go in and allow the projection to come through, like this little life, these little lives that come up, and it's like a little theatrical play where you'll see yourself in here and here. It is a godsend and it is a curse for some of us who can see so well. So I'll use my experience for you to understand on a bit more level of what I've been going through lately, and how it's been phenomenal and so transmutational. And so I had asked Love Consciousness and said, okay, why am I so attached to certain people, where out of nowhere, it was just like I knew I needed to be them, like there for them, and I barely know them, but I just felt guided to, whether it was, offer, someone saying, oh, could I borrow some money off of you? And I'm not that person to usually do that. And it's like, just absolutely without a second thought, you knew within you very deeply, and you don't know why. You see someone and you just feel that they're your soul family on some level, and you feel the camaraderie, or you feel the indebtedness. And so it took me deep, deep down into, for instance, all the people living in my house, right? And I'm going to share that I have a beautiful, two beautiful beings that are part of my soul family that are living with us. And my husband, Chris, and I knew without a shadow of a doubt that when we had seen beautiful Beth, who is soul family to us, in a place where she needed a safe place and space, without a hesitation, we both knew that she needed to be here so she could get herself back centered, stable, loved, safe, and secure. And so asking love consciousness, it was, who is Beth to me? What is this honor that I feel and this devotion to love and be safe and secure for her? And so they had showed me many of the timelines where she not only is one of the grandest warriors, but we fought by each other's sides. We've watched each other die in each other's arms, and we created this trauma bond. And this doesn't have to do with fear or danger. It was this grief that we felt in the loss. And it's not here in this lifetime, but it's from other lifetimes. And that indebtedness of her saving my life and I saving hers. And it didn't matter if I was in a leader role or not, or whatever. It was realizing this trauma bond that was created from it, of this indebtedness that we felt. And this is what many people are feeling in the purge. And now you're going to be looking outside of yourself going, okay, this makes more sense of why I feel so connected to certain people for certain reasons. So in order to be able to move forward, it's easier when the two of you are awake and open enough to understand what's going on. And so by us holding hands and being able to speak to each other that I owe you nothing, you owe me nothing, as they say to you back, knowing that we are not any of those. We don't have to be any form of personality or anything to each other's other than whole, perfect, complete, full frequency love, light love. And that is where real love always is. And by the two of you accepting and allowing this, you break that bond. And this is the part of the collapsing of all these timelines coming into one, coming up to purge, so that we no longer are carrying any of these false karmic laws that the lords of karma had put in place. And so this is happening with everyone around you. And so my children, my grandchildren, animals, everyone, I've been sitting in going super deep and being able to understand. And like I said, it's a blessing and a curse, because it takes you to many of these places. And then you realize the degree of how honored you are. And so it's breathtaking. And it is where you're speechless of what you've seen. And these people that are in these 3D avatars just here now, that may look like just someone that could be a pain in your ass, even if you wanted, that you don't know why, and that you're not in each other's lives anymore. And it's you realize there was something there and you don't know why, and you feel like there's no closure, and you feel like you need closure. And it's because it's part of your trauma bonds with them, of that indebtedness that you have to them. And so the more you look at someone and say, I honor you, I see who you are, you're able to connect more in a deeper level to the soul essence of who they are, instead of just the avatar they're playing. And everything's happening on purpose. So by being able to say, I love you, I thank you, and I honor you, which are really the words that they spoke, not please forgive me, because never have I needed to ask forgiveness. No one ever needs to say, oh, I'm so sorry. I need to be the one that chooses to forgive you, or no, there was never a reason to forgive. And so the deeper you get into the heart of who you are in that place of love, it's just knowing that's all we can be is love. Doesn't matter what happened yesterday or in whatever timeline, that's all playing out at the same time. What we are here to be is the observer, and observe the feelings that are suddenly coming out of nowhere, because you became more awake and open to allow whatever it is to finally flow through, because emotions cannot be owned. And that's the traps that have trapped in many of the mental, physical, emotional, spiritual planes in your embodiments of all these timelines that are time to release. So when I tell you the purge is real, I mean, on every level, these symptoms that people feel physically where, for instance, the moment I started doing this purge and being able to realize who these phenomenal people that are in my life out of nowhere that I know I love so wholly on a soul level, the honor I have for them. Well, what do I have now? I have a chest cold, and it came out of nowhere. No symptoms came on because where is the body part where you store grief? It's in your lungs. And so that is why, and we're watching this sweet little baby. She's mimicking the same things as she's going through the purge process. And you'll watch her go from 0 to 100 and have these emotions out of nowhere, which is so great because as a baby, they only know to let them flow. And so it helps me remember that's right. I am not my emotions. I'm allowed to feel them and not become them because they are not who I am. It's just a feeling and a flow. And so this helps you go through the purge. The mental side of you want to say, oh my God, what I've got a cold or I've got a chest cold. I've got this. I don't have anything. My body knows what it needs to do to purge, and it will always physically present itself last. So I know from years of being a hypnotherapist that everything, when you are in session, has already happened spiritually, mentally, emotionally. It will always present itself physically last. And those are the ideometer that I'm looking for. Most people, especially after they come out of session, because every cell and every part of your embodiment's involved in it, you will be so purged and so thirsty because it's more of a workout than you'll ever do on an arms or a legs day physically ever, because you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically are invested in the hypnosis session. And you're going to sweat more, you're going to pee more, you're going to poop more, you're going to sigh more, you're going to cry more, you're going to have all these things come up because you gave it permission and it finally just needs the green light to go. So this is what's happening on a massive level is your super conscious memory banks flowing through your subconscious and out through the conscious for those who are willing to observe it is what's happening, because we want them all to merge and not be separate from. Because again, the earth plane created this false duality. So I want to move into the next question, and it has still to do with the ascension symptoms that a lot of people are feeling. And there's 3 of you that wanted to be more specific in me speaking more about different protocols. And they think it has to do with ascension symptoms, but this has to do more about just knowing that, like, love consciousness has told us 100% of your health is the most important right now, because you are literally, and it has never happened. It has never happened where we move from an embodiment and stay as who we believe our personality of the embodiment is with beautiful Sophia at the same time. Anytime there has been any form of, in the 26,495 years, it was usually a wipeout that has happened or a cataclysm that rendered most people where they had to hide underground or go off planet and come back in order for a big purge to happen. But because we're pulling Earth through Terra back into Gaia and then eventually Sophia, she wanted to take care of all her babies. And we all said we were willing to try this, where we move from our whole body in this lifetime. So we're going from carbon-based, the Earth plane, to be able to transmute into this. So how are you not going to feel all these ailments? And the more you mentally project yourself and stay stuck in the game, the harder it is for many of you, because you're going to feel more and more chaos instead of being able to ground. When so many people say ignorance is bliss, that's a lie. Ignorance is dangerous. And many people are choosing to not look because they don't want to know, because it doesn't feel good. And so they'll just have continual more drama and more of what looks like chaos to you, instead of the more you are aware and open and allowing. Now, as the observer that you are, you can see for what it is. And all it is someone baiting you into believing or trying to get you to invest your time and energy into something. So this takes us to why, and in these questions that are part of ascension symptoms, are why are so many people feeling like they want to be secluded from the rest of the world? And it's simple. The easiest way to get into you is by you and yourself alone. And many of us, and I'm one of those people included, I love everything. I love life. I love each and every one of you. And I love the soul essence of you, if you have a soul, by the way. I am not interested in playing in a lie. And so do I find it extremely boring to have a 3D conversation about the most mundane 3D things? And most of you are feeling it because you're like, oh my God, yes. Okay, so now you're not alone. There are more of you going through this than there are. And it's just another marker that you've graduated and are graduating through this process, that you're not interested in 3D anymore. Those who are, right on, have a great time. I'm not going to keep you from you doing you, but I'm sure not keeping me from me doing me. And that's why many people have become more secluded, because you know that you are the most important, and how you feel and how you want to portray yourself to the world. And so in this is where many people feel the conundrum, because we know that as light that we are, and that infinite intelligence, which is more and more light and more intelligence, the more love we are, we know that we are love of self, love of others. And in the dark agenda, the negative agenda, where some people are very trapped in, is power over self, power over others. And there's a big difference between power over self and love of self. And so I want you to sit in that, because if you believe that you need to have power over yourself or control over yourself, this is probably the easiest way to understand the paradigm that it plays out, of which one you get baited into. Love knows there is no control. It is infinite, and it is limitless, and it's ever expansive. That's what perfect is. Perfect, exactly right here, is perfect. And then it's ever expanding perfection, instead of people stuck in power, control, competing, comparing. Do you see where I'm going with this? Whereas in the place of love, devotion to self, devotion to all others, because we are in it. We're in it to win it together. We are one whole, compared to believing I can have power over myself, control over myself, and then have power and control over all others, because we naturally will be what we are inside, outside to everyone else. What is this the plight of? And this is how simple it is. You are either love or you are pretending. You can't control anyone or anything. You can't control yourself. And I know most of you get so triggered when I say that to you. And many beautiful souls that know that laugh with we all laugh knowing people think they have control on any level. And you'll hear people saying, control your thoughts and you can control the world. Have fun with that. You can't control a thought that comes in. But if you have such a rigid belief system, did you know that there are millions of thoughts in your collective consciousness? And depending how limited you are in a belief system, is how many will actually flow through into your mental plane. Because the only way it can start to have an existence is you can perceive it. If you can perceive it, then you can believe it, and then you can make it become a thing. And that's how in the subconscious world it works, because everything's literal. And the only way you can start perceiving something, if it's being thrown at you, here, shiny object, here, shiny object, here, shiny object, and then all of a sudden, oh, you start having a perception or a perceived view because it's not the first time. And it may make you start to second guess a belief system around it, which is the purge that's happening right now, that you're seeing many people second guess many things. And that's where you feel that confusion from, and that anger and all these other things that you're feeling. And I say, right on, get in it, sit in it, get into the grit of it. I want it to be as messy as you think it needs to be, because it's really not messy when you look at it from an observation view. But if you need to be in it and it needs to feel whatever it is to you, get in it, get into it. Because the greatest thing you can say to yourself with everything that you're about to do and be involved in the presence of what you are, is I'm in it to win it. I don't care if I'm going to the grocery store and I'm getting my groceries. I'm in it to win it. I have a love affair with everyone around me. I love watching them. I love watching all the food and seeing where I'm drawn to. Why am I drawn to it? Is because there's something there. Because I know obviously I'm supposed to ground and get that energy off that and have a little love affair everywhere I'm going. I'm in it to win it. I know that I even enjoy doing dishes because it's a way for me to have this beautiful meditation in the morning. I love doing dishes a lot of times in the morning, so I won't actually do all of them at night. And that's right now because we have beautiful Beth living here. And I know that's her way of getting some time in and getting her meditative place in where she gets to just feel at ease in this warm water at the end of the day. And this is all being in it to win it. And it changes your perception the more and more you realize when you say, I'm in it to win it. It doesn't matter what conversation or connection I'm going to have with someone or something or whatever I'm doing. When you say I'm in it to win it, oh my God, your whole life changes because you realize the importance of that little moment is so important and you never get to have it again, ever. So if I'm in it to win it, I know that captured moment I never get to have again. And I want to win in it because I want me to realize the amazement of it. Like this moment that we're in right now. I'm in it to win it. I'm in it to sit in it, to love in it, to feel in it, to observe in it. And this is the easiest way to be love itself and to just allow that gorgeous flow that you are a part of. You're not separate from it. And again, that's why what's so amazing in the consciousness coming up is accountability, because love is the most powerful of all. And the more empowered and in loved you are, the more you have zero tolerance for what the distortion is, because that's just a lie. It's not real. It is so disgusting, because that's the reason why we are where we are, is because people allowed others to cause harm. We know that we're getting close to time. I hope that you have gotten as much as you could out of this. And I hope this helps with your ascension symptoms and or the radiation symptoms, which is the influx of all these energies that are transmuting, transforming. So again, love consciousness says so much, like this beautiful, peaceful whisper in my ear. Be gentle. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with all others. We are in territory we have not played in. We're in territory that is feeling super unstable if you choose to feel it. Or you look at it and realize the stability you feel as you are in it to win it everywhere you are. And gentle is a superpower, just like peace is a massive superpower. Being the observer, again, superpower. Being calm, is that not peaceful? Is that not graceful and gentle? That calmness is your superpower. And the only way is through choice, through the action of sitting in that feeling as it's coming on. So thank you so much for the fact that you are all sending in your questions. I hope this lets you take what you need, leave the rest behind, because I will never tell you what you need to be doing. These are just people asking questions, wanting another perspective, and then you get to make that perspective more colorful from your perceived view. I love you. I do. I honor you and I thank you all so much. And I look forward to all of your questions that you want to submit. And I will really look forward to you giving your name so that I can do a shout out to you. And please, again, send the email to support@livingwholeonpurpose.com. I love you. I thank you. I honor you. And I look forward to seeing you next week here on Sit in It.